Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the Apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning into these videos. Alright, so the topic of this video is going to be about the enmity and the hatred, the perpetual hatred that ESAU EDOM, the so-called white people, have against Jacob, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American people, because those are their biblical nationalities. Because we're in, February 6, 2020, year of prophecy, and, the majority of the people of our nation, the descendants of Jacob, they have it in their mind that, after, like all the things that happened, and they might feel like Martin Luther King, W.E.B. Du Bois, all these so-called prominent, so-called black, figures, they gave speeches, they did all these protests, and pretty much the nation of Israel, but mainly the 2/3, think that ESAU EDOM, the so-called white race, has humbled down, and he doesn't see us as 3/5 of a human being. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. I got a few examples, but I'm just gonna say that this enmity, this hatred, it goes back to in the book of Genesis 27. Because I'm just gonna bring up the part where where he was where Esau, he went outside to the wilderness. You could read the story yourself, but just a quick reference point is Esau went out to the wilderness to get some venison for his father Isaac. And then Jacob, Yaakov, the supplanter, he pretty much made himself feel and smell like Esau. He put goat's hair on his hand so he could feel hairy. He put on his clothes so he could smell like a man from the wilderness. Because Isaac's eyesight was very poor. So that's why Jacob supplanted Esau through the way of touch and scent. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this in Genesis 27 and 38. It says, "And Esau said unto his father," it's because Jacob had already gave him venison, then he gave him a blessing, because he pretty much thought that was Esau. Then Esau walked in and he saw that happening. So pretty much it's him. He's walking in, he's seeing the thing happen. It says, "And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. So you can see here is there was a lot of emotion in Esau, because pretty much Jacob, took his birthright away. That's a chapter before, but this is dealing with the blessing. So if you get your blessing taken away, there's a lot of emotion, and that's why he was weeping, and he lifted up his voice, so he was yelling. So continuing on, it said, "And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck." And then verse 41, it says, "And Esau hated Jacob, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him." So pretty much, Isaac gave, the better blessing to Jacob, and he gave him, a low blessing to Esau. Pretty much that he's going to, Isaac was pretty much prophesying about the days of now. Esau is going to have the fatness of the earth. He's going to have the blessing of the sword, and then there's going to come a time when he's going to have, because right now he's got, the nation of Israel enslaved, with, mental yokes of iron. But there's going to come a time when those yokes of iron are going to be broken off of us. So that's Isaac prophesying about Esau's, low-level blessing. And because of that, Esau hated Jacob, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, so he was pretty much saying it in his mind. He was thinking it. He had premeditated murder in his mind. And it says, "The days of mourning of my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob." So he pretty much wanted to, kill his brother Jacob, just like how he did when he was Cain, and how, he killed his brother Abel. So I got the other, transliterations of the Bible here. You can look at the NIV, ESV. We'll look at the NIV for this, for a little bit of a deeper understanding. It says, Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. If you could look at the definition of grudge, it means that you're holding on to this hatred. You can't let go of it. That's pretty much what the definition of a grudge is. All right, so this is a ancient biblical hatred that the so-called white men and the so-called black people pretty much have against each other. But mainly, it's stemming from ESAU EDOM. So I got these situations, because I was saying in prior videos that all these prophecies are happening. Pestilence, famines, wars, rumors of war, and then the sedition among men. I was saying how Esau's racism is going to start riling up. Lo and behold, I got a plethora of these articles, showing this as a fact that Esau still hates Jacob. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip.
I remember when I went to his bedroom to say goodnight, and he was crying because of the abuse that he was enduring in this school system.
Then why did you stay in Mexico?
So you can see here, a so-called Mexican, which he's an Ishakite, from the tribe of, from the children of Jacob, pretty much. He's an Israelite, and you got over here a guy right here. He's a so-called white man, but really his biblical nationality is that he's an Edomite. And this guy, he's talking about the stuff that his kids are going through in school. The video's name is called "Why Didn't You Stay in Mexico?" Diversity and inclusion meeting turns volatile at Michigan school. Because Esau, he raised up a valid point in his point of view. Is his kid's going through some stuff, and he raises his hand like that. He says, "Well, why didn't you stay in Mexico?"
That's indicative of what these kids are experiencing. That's indicative of what our kids are experiencing. Comments like that. And he's sharing a story right now, and that's indicative of what our kids are experiencing. So this is the
This is a platform for discussion. That's right. That's right. Okay.
You're right. You got the floor.
I got
You got
respect
the
for you,
floor.
buddy. Wherever you are.
You got the floor. Hey, you interrupt.
Yeah, most likely the guy that he had respect for was probably another so-called white man.
All right. We're going to have this meeting.
Let me answer the question. He asked me a question. He asked me a question, why didn't I stay in Mexico? Because this is the greatest country in the world.
Well, you're complaining about being here. You're complaining about being here.
It's not your turn.
It's not your turn. You get the mic next. Okay, you get the mic
Here's the thing.
Alright, that's enough of that. Because you get pretty much get the point. Of course, Jake, he's up in his emotions, thinking that this place is a good place. That's a different topic for another day. So this is the article for his Michigan parent meeting about discrimination interrupted. Then why didn't you stay in Mexico? And you got Jake there. They got upset about that. Because Esau, he was upset before the meeting even happened. With that statement, why didn't you stay in Mexico? The reason is because he said that is because he's got a perpetual hatred for the nation of Israel. Whether they be Mexican or whether they be so-called, black, like how this brother right here is talking. And it's just gonna go to another example. This one was is a U.S. university draws ire with display of prominent black figures hanging from tree. I guess this so-called black woman, Crystal Rose Davis Dunn, she was walking around the school, and she saw a tree, like a Christmas tree, with a lot of like famous, figureheads of Black history. Because it's the month of February, so you had these little Black History Month, things going around. This is like Harriet Tubman, I think, Michelle Obama. Yeah, I'm not sure who all these people are, but they're so-called prominent figures in Black history. But over here at the school, so it wasn't just that one tree. It was they like in their little gift shop area. They were selling these little toys of Black History Month, but then they were hanging them on nooses on trees. And if you think, like, did the person who set that up didn't think that this was going to be in bad taste? Ultimately, the person didn't see it that way because he has perpetual hatred for these people. These people who are depicted as so-called black people, who are actually the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And you got another example. This one is a Florida high school coach fired for telling players to stop acting black. And mind you, I didn't say the dates of when all these things are happening, but they're within this week, the beginning of February. January was one big event pretty much, but you got February starting already with a lot of racism. I'm not going to read the article because you pretty much get the gist of what ESAU Edom was trying to get at when he said to his teams, the people playing in his team is they got to stop acting black, pretty much stop acting like Israelites, because just the thought of acting like an Israelite gets him perpetually angry. Then we got another one. Let's see what the date on this one. This one's recent. It was the 5th of February, 2020, year of prophecy. And this one says, drunk student, 21 years old, is arrested after launching into a racist and homophobic triad at a California university before boasting about being worth $50 million and breaking his classmate's laptop. I highlighted this part. It says, he can be heard repeatedly using the N-word and the F-word when talking about his classmates. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here. I'm not going to show the whole thing of this story, but you get the gist of it already. These are quotes of the so-called white person right here. He came to school drunk, and he had to slip a few N-words out. So these quotes. It says, "Been drinking Bacardi all day, N-word." Kingery says, placing the bottle down before taking a swig. "I effing hate N-words," he asserts, before declaring the racist statement again. As Kingery gets more riled up, his classmates can be heard telling him to chill. This goes back to Genesis 27. Esau's not going to chill because Jacob took his blessing. He's big mad. So continue on. It says, "Got any N-words in here?" he asks, looking around to see if there are any black students in the classroom. So Esau pretty much walked in drunk. People were telling him to calm down. And then he got arrested. I just wanted to point out, there's a nice picture right here that he got right here. Dayton Kingery, student at Champaign University. This guy supposedly was worth $50 million or whatever. But this is a nice picture. Ultimately, the majority of our people, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, this is how they see and retain that image of ESAU Edom. They think that he's this good guy. Slavery happened a long time ago. And he's a changed man. So I got this in Ecclesiasticus, 12 verse 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." So when Esau declared in his mind that he wanted to kill Jacob, he became the enemy of our nation. So we have enemies. Pretty much all the heathen nations are our enemies, but the main enemy is ESAU Edom. Because right now he's the one who has us in shackles. He's the one that's pretty much making it so that we always sin and go against our power. He's literally enemy number one. He's the top bad guy. Like if you were to see like in like that old Superman cartoon, the Legion of Doom, he would be Lex Luthor, and then all the underlings would be the the lesser evils. So Esau Edom is the Lex Luthor of our enemies. So I'm gonna read it again. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." So just because he's a cool looking guy, he's got a picture of a mountain. He's wearing a suit and tie. He's smiling. Don't trust him, because just like iron, eventually that rust is gonna show forth. Because like right in this picture, he obviously wiped off the iron off his body, but just give him time. Give Esau time, and then he's gonna come to school drunk, passing out the N-words. Alright, so verse 11 says, "Though he humbled himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away." Because Esau Edom, he's the border of wickedness. He was made to be wicked. He's always going to have that rust. That's why pretty much pursuing to prophecy in the book of Obadiah is after the 1,000 years of slavery, he's going to be exterminated, because there's no reason for him to exist. Alright, so just to point out the history, because we had the history of Genesis 27, where Jacob supplanted him and took his blessing, and he got mad at that, and he became our enemy pretty much. And I didn't have it in the time when we were leaving Egypt. He didn't want us to go into his land. Like, we went there, we wanted to trade with him, but he didn't want us to go there at all. Because he had that perpetual hatred, that whole nation. But so anyways, jumping into a different section of history, this was after we got the southern kingdom got taken over by the Babylonians. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this in Psalms 137. It says, "By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept, when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, Sing us one of the songs of Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof." So because when we were pretty much, the southern kingdom was getting, put into captivity by the Babylonians, Esau Edom was there. And this is the thing that he was saying when the nation of Israel was going down. It says, they were saying, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. So he pretty much utterly wanted us to get exterminated. Because he was saying this about the physical, landscape of the nation of Israel, or the country of Israel. But pretty much in his mind, that's what he sees, or that's what he wants out of us. He wants, to raise it, even to the foundation thereof. So pretty much he was saying to utterly kill, the Israelites. And so continue on, it says, "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones." So this is a historical beef between us, Jacob and Israel. Jacob and Esau. So I got this in Ezekiel 35:5. It says, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the innocent the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end." And I went ahead and looked it up in the blue letter of the word perpetual, because he had a perpetual hatred against the Israelites, and pretty much it says it's he's got a long hatred, the long duration of hatred, antiquity hatred, so it's an old hatred, futurity. So I don't know what that word means, but jumping over here, the main one says forever, everlasting, evermore, perpetual, old, ancient, world. So he has an everlasting hatred against the nation of Israel. And so this is Obadiah verse 10. It says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, So who's this that's giving violence towards their brother Jacob? This is talking about Esau Edom. And he's giving violence towards us. He's not giving us love. He's not giving us turn the other cheek mentality. This is the guy who literally enslaved the nation of Israel. So it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Because there's going to come a time where Esau is going to be put away, forever, for this reason. Because I'm gonna go ahead and read this one right here, because the nation of Israel is the apple of the Most High's eye, and Esau Edom is pretty much forwarding the affliction and causing us to suffer. So this is Zechariah 2:8. It says, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. So right here you're giving us perpetual hatred. You're enslaving us, just pretty much doing the most. You're pretty much affecting the people who have a direct line to the Heavenly Father. And don't you think he's going to be mad about that? And so this is Zechariah 1 verse 15. It says, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. So the Heavenly Father was somewhat mad, but just the way that he's acting, he's completely mad. And that's why he's going to come down here and do the things that he's going to do. Alright, so this is Malachi 1 verse 4. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw it down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. So the border of wickedness, that's the nation of Edom. The humans who pretty much are like iron, that rust all the time. You can never change the fact that iron rusts. They're the border of wickedness. And it says, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. So there's indignation forever. Only until they serve their captivity for 1,000 years and they get utterly exterminated is when this beef ends. Because like I said, man, this is a biblical beef. It's an ancient beef. Alright, so this is Ezekiel 25 verse 12. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance. So it's a nice word there, vengeance. And I went ahead and got the etymon for it. And so pretty much vengeance, and right here it says revenge. So why is the Heavenly Father taking revenge? It's because Esau Edom is affecting us, and we're the apple of the Heavenly Father's eye. So he's taking revenge upon Esau Edom. Alright, so it says, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger, and according to my fury. And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh power. So there's going to come a time when, this vengeance is going to happen. It's going to take place. Like right now, you're seeing it pretty much. It's the precursor of the end times. Because when Yahweh Shai actually returns, is when you're going to see Esau Edom get brought low. And it's pretty much eye for an eye. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Because he's got that perpetual hatred for Jacob. And the only thing that's going to quench it is retribution. That's the end of this video. Also, the brother Manasseh, from the SF camp, he made a video recently, that we don't want reparations, that when Esau, give us $1,000 or whatever a month. What we want eye for an eye. Because you led us into captivity, therefore you have to go into captivity. Alright, so that's the end of this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and Shalom Akim.